Wars. In this war, a danger there is of losing who we are.
Hey guys, what's going on? Jared Seach here again with Dungeon Crawlers. I just got done watching Star Wars The Clone Wars about 5 minutes ago. My very first time watching it. Just finished the very last episode of Season 6. I cannot believe, as a Star Wars fan, I hadn't experienced this level of storytelling from the prequels, characters, and established story. Like, the prequel films are nothing compared to the prequels and the Clone Wars. You combine them and have this actual, complete story for once. And you know what? Since this is a spoiler, review of it, I am a little bit disappointed that it ended the way it did, that the Clone Wars ended the way it did. I felt a little bit incomplete. The ending was super epic. I feel like maybe Season 5 would have been a better ending, considering, that's when Ahsoka decided to leave the Jedi Order after being falsely accused. And, it wrapped everything together very nicely with the chemistry between certain characters. However, that being said, Season 6 was very, very enjoyable, very informative, and yeah, Bane! Bane is canon!
Do you know who I am? Yes, Darth Bane.
And yes, there's a lot of things to enjoy out of Season 6, but I still have this sense of incompleteness, I guess. I feel like there was more to maybe shut the door with before ending the Clone Wars as a series. Now, Dave Filoni, the creator of the Clone Wars, has taken a very important, very impressive, and intelligent step to help giving us some closure to the Clone Wars in his new show, Rebels.
I fought with Commander Tano during the Clone Wars, and a friend of hers is a friend of mine.
But as someone who's been watching Rebels, having not seen the Clone Wars, going back and watching it, it makes the entire thing make sense. It makes me feel, after being done with the Clone Wars, feeling like I'm getting some kind of farewell from characters or stories or plots established in the Clone Wars that weren't finished through Season 6. Rebels has picked up the torch, and they are finishing this job. And they're doing a damn good job at it.
I hope you brought a better class of soldier than those stormtroopers.
Now, having finished the Clone Wars, you guys already know I think it's spectacular. I'm absolutely in love with the series. I am frowning upon myself for not seeing it sooner. 1, go watch it. If you haven't seen it and you're watching this now, shut the freaking video off and go watch it. Guys, as a Star Wars fan, to other Star Wars fans, you are missing out if you haven't seen Clone Wars. 2, some things that I immediately dwell back on having finished the series all of 5 minutes ago. The clones are now relatable human characters. I can't believe that this army of what I felt was just expendable assholes has turned into people that I genuinely care about and have gotten to know on a first name basis. I've gotten to know their personalities. I've gotten to know that they vary from clone to clone. Not one clone is the same. They're like snowflakes.
Hello, CT5555.
No clone uses a number. I am Fives. Call me Fives.
The difference is minimal.
Not to me.
And they share such a powerful sense of unity and brotherhood that you really don't see that in the prequels. And I was just shocked at some of the episodes that I saw that relayed their personalities on screen for the very first time for me. One of the biggest ones, maybe 2 of the biggest ones for me that I felt was really powerful was 1, the episode where they have that general, that Jedi general with the 4 arms. I forget his name. If you can comment down below, that'd be awesome. Anakin gets sent back to Coruscant, and Captain Rex and this new Jedi with these 4 arms comes down to command the unit to go take down some kind of air base or something on this really dark and kind of dreary planet. The general has a dark agenda from the beginning. He's kind of a gray Jedi or maybe a corrupted Jedi. And slowly, little bit by little bit, he's forcing these clones to kill themselves, to go on these suicide missions. And I remember one specific scene that I was just kind of choking at a little bit was the scene where he tells them that the enemy is also wearing clone armor. You guys got to go out there and be ready to fire at people trying to trick you into thinking that they're other clones.
They're disguised as clones, all right.
Well, they get out there. Captain Rex and his unit in Brigitte gets out there, and they see these other clones in yellow armor, and pew pew pew, there's a firefight going on. He notices that one of them doesn't have his helmet on, and he sees that, oh my god, that is another clone. And there's this emotional just anchor of depression and anxiety and confusion as they hold their brothers in arms in their hands, realizing that the thing that killed them was either this Jedi general,
It was General Krell.
or this blatant stupidity of themselves not being able to recognize their own people.
We thought they were wearing our armor. But it was you.
And I remember thinking, my God, this is a lot for a kid show. This is brilliant. And the episode continues on where a couple of valiant clones go up and literally sacrifice themselves to save the rest of their unit back down on the planet by destroying a big control base or whatever against the Jedi general's wishes and his orders. And they get sentenced to be executed for it. And this is where the clones take their stand.
For ordering your troops against one another.
Oh, that.
Brilliant display of the clones. And then I'll lightly touch on the other episode that really made me emotional towards them is the one where Fives is trying to rescue, I forget his name again, please post it down in the comments below, his clone brother that has been, he kind of snapped and executed Order 66 a little bit early.
It seems he's had some sort of breakdown. He doesn't seem to remember what happened.
And now the whole plan of Order 66 and everything is about to be revealed, and the Kaminoans and the Sith and everyone's trying to keep it under wraps.
Protocol 66 must not be discovered by the Jedi.
Yes, Lord Tyrannus.
But the only thing that this man, Fives, cares about is stopping this from happening again, to save the rest of his brothers, and in the process trying to save his fellow clone that kind of snapped, even though he ends up dying anyway. It's just very, very sad. He himself goes crazy. He's trying to get the information out, but everyone thinks that he's nuts. And it feels like you're backing in a corner a little bit because there's nothing that you can do in that situation. There's literally nothing that you can do. They think you're crazy.
I was framed because I know the truth. The truth about a plot. A massive deception.
You're genuinely trying to save the people that you love, but because you can't contain your anxiety and your fear of the situation, it comes off as you're nuts. You're crazy.
The mission. The nightmares. They're finally over. Fight. Come on, fight. Don't go. Stay with me. Stay with me.
So first thing, clones are now people, personalities, not an expendable army anymore, an army composed of human beings. I don't care if they're clones, human beings that are individual. They're united. They have a brotherhood, and they have feelings. They have conflicts. They're real people. Amazing addition to the prequels. Another character that I really grew to like a lot that I didn't expect to was Ventress. Now Ventress starts off as kind of this, Count Dooku's bitch. I can't really say it any way better. Like, she's under the manipulation of Count Dooku, just kind of running around doing what he wants to do, and she doesn't have her own purpose other than revenge. Kind of like what we see in Darth Maul a little bit later, but she was kind of a one-dimensional character for maybe the first season or two. Later down the road, after she's betrayed by Count Dooku and she has to find herself again with the Night Sisters and find her purpose, and then eventually joins the company of bounty hunters and becomes the first Sith bounty hunter that I've seen, which I think is badass. I really think that her character brings a lot more to the table than I had expected. I really thought she was going to be, again, the foot soldier, the yes man. I will go out and kill the Jedi because I hate them. And she gradually turns into this person that, yes, is very selfish, but she starts making choices that don't just affect herself. Like, she maybe seems like it's just selfish, but she really does seek the light again. She really does seek to be something more than just a revenge-seeking Sith or Hound or whatever you want to call her. Like, she genuinely wants to become a better person. And you see it throughout the series. We never get to see it close the door on it again. I really hope to see Ventress and maybe Rebels. But I was very intrigued by her character and very impressed by it, that it went the place that it did. So Ventress, an awesome addition. Now, I can't contain my excitement about this anymore. I was going to save it for later. But guys, Ahsoka Tano.
If it isn't the hairless harpy.
If it isn't Skywalker's filthy, obnoxious little pet.
Ahsoka Tano is the apprentice of Anakin. She's kind of forced on him. He doesn't want an apprentice. He doesn't want the responsibility. You have to imagine that maybe Yoda was trying to teach him a lesson by giving him somebody similar to him, like hot-headed and very spontaneous, and maybe that would have helped Jedi, or helped Anakin progress as a Jedi Knight. Guys, if you could answer a question for me, I thought that the Jedi were, like, they were able to choose their apprentices, and that you had to be a Jedi Master to take on an apprentice. Why does Anakin, one, not get to choose his apprentice, and two, why does he get an apprentice at the rank of Jedi Knight and not Master? Go ahead and let me know what you guys think.
Doing what the Jedi Council says, that's one thing. How we go about doing it, that's another.
Twice the trouble they have become.
At first, I really felt like it was a forced character, like, oh, okay, so Anakin has to have an apprentice, that's just, what's going to make good TV. No, like, it really brings out the character of Anakin as well in introducing another person that he takes, one, responsibility for, and two, he shows more affection to Ahsoka in a very platonic, brother-sister kind of way, but he loves this girl, and he's very protective over her. And Ahsoka, as an individual, he grows up thinking everyone thinks that she can't handle it, or that she's a kid, and she overcomes all these obstacles and becomes an amazing Jedi Knight. I think somewhere in the tail end of Season 5, she's accused of murder. And it really shows how much she's learned throughout the entire series when she says, I've got this, Anakin. Trust me, I need to figure this out. And ultimately, she does. She fights tooth and nail to prove that she's a genuine human being and a Jedi Knight. And it speaks so much of the character progression that we saw from Episode 1 of Season 1 to the final episode we see her in Episode 5. I really grew to love her character. Very loyal, very loving, very obedient. Even though she's rebellious, she ultimately knows what she needs to do in order to become a Jedi, and she does. Very, very emotional scene for me when the Jedi Council finally admits that they had gotten the wrong person, that they flat out expelled her from the Jedi Order, and she was going to be sentenced to death for a murder that she didn't commit. And when welcomed back into the Order, she says, no, I'm not doing it. I've seen, what the Jedi are, and I need to go figure something out on my own before I decide to come back or decide to stay away. Like, she decides that it's not where she needs to be right now. And watching Anakin chase her down and her leaving, I was just the whole time like, oh my, I am not crying over a kid's TV show right now. I'm just not doing it. But I totally did. Ahsoka and Anakin, it's almost weird to see him without her in the movies now. That's how much I enjoyed her character.
Ahsoka, why did you leave? Do you know what I've become?
Now that translates over to Anakin Skywalker perfectly. 1, I hate Anakin Skywalker in the prequel films. Hate him. I thought he was the biggest douche. I thought he was the biggest whine baby, like crybaby. Like, I did not enjoy him every single second he was on screen. I thought, what an idiot. But slowly through the Clone Wars, I've grown to adore Anakin as a character. The Clone Wars does something that the prequels didn't. The Clone Wars showed us the progression of Anakin in a way where we understand why he turned to the freaking dark side.
The Force is strong.
Anakin, please!
You were my brother, Anakin!
Powerful Sith you will.
I hate you!
Ultimately, it was love. He's so attached to these other human beings. Ahsoka, Padme, Obi-Wan, among a ton of other people, and when those individuals' lives are at stake, he will do anything to protect them. He will do anything to make sure they're happy and safe, and he literally lets love eat him from the inside out. And I can see why the Jedi say not to love, but at the same time, he fights for it, and ultimately, it's his downfall, but you can't help but admire the character for really just laying it all out on the ground. Like, if there was one person you wanted to be friends with in this series, it was Anakin Skywalker, because he would go walk the ends of the earth to make sure your butt didn't get killed. And he did it very frequently in this show. That, and he's a much more cool character, like the witty humor and his action.
Down! Thanks. It wasn't you I wanted to save.
And the things that he does in order to fulfill his title as Jedi Knight, and it's just much cooler than the one we saw in the prequels. So, I mean, my God, Anakin, finally, my friend, you have my approval. You have the Siege thumbs up. Anakin Skywalker is an awesome character in the Clone Wars. And to wrap up with some other side characters, I mean, Obi-Wan, not a side character, Obi-Wan, my God, he has such awesome chemistry with everybody on the show. He's so reserved yet and so cool, but he's not susceptible to being a human being. He fell in love with the Duchess of Mandalore.
I'll take care of this, Obi-Wan. You, go find your girlfriend.
Right. No, Anakin, she's not my...
Who immediately, tells him that I've always loved you, and he admits it back, and he even says something like, I would have left the Jedi Order had you told me to. It shows that even Obi-Wan, a very stern and father-like figure, is susceptible to giving into these human emotions that he's been denied as a Jedi.
Anakin, I understand to a degree what is going on. You've met Satine. You know I once harbored feelings for her. It's not that we're not allowed to have these feelings. It's natural.
And it makes me love him that much more because it shows how much sacrifice he makes in order to save his friend, Anakin Skywalker, as well as his Duchess lover or admirer. Or it really seems like they had something going on. He really will, again, like Anakin, walk to the ends of the earth to protect somebody. He's a very loyal, very, very amazing friend. And it really makes me feel like when I watch episode 3 again, having seen the Clone Wars, that the confrontation between Obi-Wan and Anakin, it will be that much more difficult for me to experience, because the first time I watched it, it was very sad. Ewan McGregor stole the show, the whole "you were my brother, Anakin, I loved you." It was very emotional. I teared up a little bit in the theater. But knowing their history, knowing how much they loved each other and how much they fought for each other, how much they bled for each other.
Looks like I have to rescue you again, old man.
I knew you'd have a backup plan.
I don't know if I'll be able to handle it anymore. Seriously, they have such a unique and strong and amazing relationship that it takes the films to a whole new level. Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka Tano. 3 of the most incredible characters that I hadn't tapped into their potential of because I was too lazy to watch the Clone Wars. Guys, this was an amazing show. Now, to wrap it all up, a couple more episodes that I found really entertaining. One, I loved the episode with the giant Zillo beast, or whatever you call it, it looked like Cloverfield in space. It looked like Cloverfield in Star Wars. I thought it was awesome. Some people may think it's silly. I thought it was epic. Big monster tearing up Coruscant. I thought it was awesome. Another one I really liked was the revival of Darth Maul. I wasn't quite sure about it at first. I was like, why bring him back? Thank you, fans. Thank you very much. But really, they made Darth Maul make a lot of sense. They introduced his brother, Savage, who was also a very cool character. He found his pursuit of revenge to just overtake everything in his life.
You will pay for your insolence.
We are pirates! We don't even know what that means! Open fire!
And I think even Darth Maul, as a villain and an antagonist, kind of finds something in himself when he goes up against freaking Darth Sidious at the end, which, again, I did not see coming. I was like, this is about to happen. Darth Maul is about to fight Darth Sidious with his brother Savage. It was epic. Savage, awesome character, super loyal, kind of a beast, but and unwranglable, but there's only a few people that he respects enough not to go ape shit on. Awesome character. Yoda, his progression, especially in the last couple episodes that I just saw, amazing. He again, it humanizes the characters. He's human. He has problems. He feels conflict. He's scared, but he gets it all together so that he can face whatever he needs to face in order to save the galaxy. It's so cool to see these characters all of the sudden humanized with real problems and real conflicts. Every single character goes through this. And that's what makes the Clone Wars amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, guys, this is what I want to do here because I am in Clone Wars talking mode. Throughout the next maybe couple of weeks, I'm going to start dropping little things here and there of me like, oh yeah, I thought that was cool. I'm going to go talk about it, of the Clone Wars. I would like you guys to do the same thing. Tell us what you thought were some memorable parts of the Clone Wars, even if it's just a concept or a character that you really liked. That'd be really cool. It'd also be really awesome if you gave us some like specific scenes or specific episodes that you guys were just floored by. Like, literally, guys, this show has changed my perspective on the prequels, and it has expanded the amazing storytelling that I feel is worthy of holding the Star Wars title. So, guys, get out there. Watch Star Wars The Clone Wars. You will not be disappointed. Leave your comments in the comment section below. I'm going to go start it again here shortly in the right order. Again, I don't know if you saw this in the last video, but if you're starting it for your first time ever, there is another option, another way, another method to watch the series. Supposedly, they were released in like out of order of the episodes. Like episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on Netflix is different than the chronological storytelling that you would see, in an actual TV show. So if you want to see that list, link is posted in the description below of the correct chronological order to watch the Clone Wars. Netflix order is okay too. That's how I watched it, and it was amazing. So guys, that was a lot. Thanks for sticking with us. Clone Wars blew my mind, man. Blew my mind. Go watch it. Let's talk about it. And as always, may the Force be with you.